Here we have the Ryukyu Trench and islands. This is an extension of Japan. We see here a very strong subduction zone going down, and right near Taipei and Taiwan in general, we're seeing this new seismic burst. So this is just for the past 24 hours, okay? I'm going to click on the 7-day view because we've had other activity just yesterday. But we see just in the past 24 hours, a magnitude 5.1, 5.1, 5.4. That's the strongest in this sequence. That was today, 5:53 a.m. Universal Time, and a 4.6. Now, if I go here and switch this to our 7-day view, we will see that all of a sudden a lot more earthquakes pop up. So we can set this to largest magnitude, 5.4, 5.2, 5.1, 5.1, 5.0. The fact that we have 5 magnitude 5s all closely grouped together is indicative that there could be a bigger earthquake soon to come, because this is not normal as it relates to, let's say, it just being a magnitude 5 and that's it. If that was the case, the aftershocks would be magnitude 4, maybe one of them, and then you get magnitude 3s. If this was like a double sequence, sometimes you get kind of 2 earthquakes similar magnitude. Well, this is 5 of them, okay? And what we've seen quite a few times now is that we get these sort of magnitude 5 earthquake swarms preceding larger magnitude 6 and 7 events. Keep in mind that this is not relieving stress on a fault if there is a magnitude 6.5 or let's say magnitude 7 imminent, okay? Because a magnitude 5 earthquake is 1,000 times weaker in seismic energy release than a magnitude 7. It goes up 32 times per magnitude. So a magnitude 5 compared to magnitude 7 is a drop in the bucket. It's nothing. So it's not relieving stress on these faults, okay? And we saw this back in November, December. I started talking about that earthquake swarm literally the moment we had some 5s, saying, get ready, something big is coming. It happened. We had a 6.4, 6.8. We then had some other magnitude 6 quake activity, then the 7.6 that struck Japan. One of the strongest earthquakes of the year. That was up in this region right here. So that was quite significant. Now we're seeing activity here. The real danger for this is if we were to have a big earthquake, look at the location here, okay? And it's shallow. You'll notice all these are shallow. I mean, the 5.4 is at 35 kilometers in depth. All the others are around 10. This one there, that's showing the Philippines. Let's really zoom in here. All of them are showing 10 kilometers of depth, which is a depth that a lot of frequencies do rupture at, and B, also their default value when they can't calculate a depth. So regardless, this 5.4 being the strongest earthquake, it has the best ability for us to measure its specific characteristics. 35 kilometers, that's not super deep, okay? It's not super shallow, but it's not a deep earthquake that wouldn't trigger a tsunami. Let's say a magnitude 7.5 occurs at the same depth, that could very well do it. Shallower would be better, you could say, for a big tsunami. Not that we want that. But regardless, it's still within that depth range, which could trigger something. So here we see that if there was some sort of big event, it hit the Philippines, Taiwan, Japan, Korean Peninsula, and also China. But we can drop this guy in right here and hit play, and we'll see that go out. So we can see how it would impact this part of Asia, and really that would be a pretty bad location for something big to occur. Not guaranteed, hopefully it doesn't, but it's something to be aware of because we're seeing the earthquake activity that often precedes these sort of high magnitude events. So that's why I report on it. When we see the signs, we talk about it. If nothing's happening there, I'm not going to make a big deal out of nothing like some people do. You know, they create these fictional things to drum you up, and they'll talk about them for 10 years to create online clout at the expense of their soul. That's not what I'm interested in. One other thing to note there is that there is a history of strong earthquakes, okay? So we see, I just drew a box around just kind of this immediate area for earthquakes, magnitude 7 or greater, going back to the year 1900, January 1st. You see that Taiwan gets a lot of earthquakes, right? This junction, that makes sense. But we do see specifically for right where our earthquake swarm is, which is like right here, basically right in the area, we see this 7.7 occurred 1938 on the 10th of June at a depth of 20 kilometers. So 7.7 is big. That would for sure be one of the biggest earthquakes if that occurred this year of the year. So it's certainly possible. We see that history there. We see some other earthquakes nearby. 8.1, 1910, that's a little further back. 7.2 back in 58. And this occurring in 38 means that we're, what, 88 years away from that now? So it's been a while. It's been a while. And now we're seeing some foreshock activity. So again, no guarantee that's going to result in the, a big earthquake, but this sort of foreshock activity is not a good sign, let's just say, unfortunately. And it's not relieving stress on the fault if a bigger earthquake is, for example, you could say destined, okay?